Breaking news right now. This appears to be a live look from the State House here in the Nashville area. This is the Capitol. It appears some kind of confrontation is happening on the House floor. At this point, we have several lawmakers. The House has just adjourned, I'm being told at this point. So a developing situation here for sure. We heard earlier from State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien that the Senate adjourned earlier as well. There's been a lot of confrontation between the House and the Senate so far. This is a special session that's been going on since last week regarding public safety. It was called by Governor Bill Lee following the Covenant school shooting earlier this year. And there's just been a lot of confrontation, a lot of back and forth between the House and the Senate. Majority leaders who were having some difficulty coming to a conclusion and coming to an agreement regarding how to handle the special session, regarding whether or not more legislation should be passed and move forward during the short amount of time. And now it looks like in this live picture here from the State House floor that there is a confrontation happening amongst the lawmakers. So we're trying to get a little bit more information about exactly what's going on here now. Chris O'Brien is live with us right now. Chris, what's going on here? What happened?
Yeah, Nikhil, chaos just ensued. So they adjourned for a special session here in the House, sine die. And then Representative Justin Pearson went after Cameron Sexton. I had just stepped out, but our great photojournalist Joe Gregory had captured everything that just happened. He went after Cameron Sexton. Obviously, tension's extremely high right now. Democrats are very frustrated that nothing got heard, that really nothing substantial came out of this special session. So we're about to go hear from the House Republicans right now. The leadership is still discussing back and forth about what just happened, but as soon as we have more info, Nikhil, I will make sure we get it to y'all as soon as we can.
Chris, I have another question. Did things turn physical? Because it looks like tensions were definitely extremely heightened in the live picture that we saw a moment ago.
Yeah, it was definitely at least a little bit physical. Now, I don't know just how physical you can quantify it, but there was definitely a scrum. There was definitely some frustration. People were definitely touching each other. I mean, there were hands on bodies and things like that. I mean, it was about as chaotic as it gets. And in fact, you can actually see Representative Justin Jones. I don't know if you can follow my finger here, but see Representative Justin Jones tossing up and shouting up to the gallery up ahead. With Representative Justin Jones is, wow. It's grabbing the gavel and hitting it. I mean, I have to say that I believe that this is pretty unprecedented. I can't, at least for my own sake, ever remember a time that this has happened in special or regular session. So you're seeing things that I believe have happened for the first or at least early on, maybe second time ever. You see Representative Justin Pearson out there saying whose house, with the gallery responding our house. I mean, this scene has really devolved from what was already tense into just an absolute morass and absolute chaos from top to bottom.
Give us an idea of what happened between the live report where we talked with you about 10-15 minutes ago, and you did your live report, you went inside the House, and then what happened after that?
Yeah, as the House, that's a great question, Nikhil. So as we brought you that live report about 15 minutes ago, the House was already in session as that happened. So now, as we were waiting pretty much for the House to come and adjourn, we had probably been here not even 2 or 3 minutes before the House decided to go ahead and adjourn. And that's when all the chaos ensued. That's when Pearson went after Speaker Sexton. That's when everything pretty much just devolved. The gallery really came up. And the only thing that happened in between the last report and this report was adjournment. We didn't really hear much else. There was a couple bickering back and forth between the parties, but on official business, but that was pretty much it.
Wow, Chris O'Brien is live with us now. Just to bring you all up to speed at home, this is a live look at the House floor at the Tennessee State Capitol. Chaos seems to have broken out on the House floor this morning. We saw lawmakers confronting each other, lots of anger, lots of tension earlier this morning within the last 5 to 10 minutes or so. We're going to show you some video that happened earlier this morning. So this appears to be House Speaker Cameron Sexton and Justin Pearson here holding a sign. I see Representative Lamberth in the mix here as well. So several lawmakers are standing around, and it looks like there is some Words are being exchanged for sure between them. Looks like things became a little bit physical, but it's unclear still exactly who initiated that physical interaction between these lawmakers, but definitely some very, very tense moments happened within the last, again, 5 to 7 minutes ago. This is recorded footage of what happened earlier, but we're still live with Chris O'Brien right now. Chris, give us an idea of what the situation is like now. Have things calmed down?
Yeah, so here's essentially what happened, Nikhil. You can actually see that's mostly press right there, and it's showing Representative Tory Harris, showing Representative Justin Pearson and Representative Justin Jones what happened. Now, I've actually just went back and watched the video of what happened. Representative Pearson kind of got in the face of Speaker Cameron Sexton, waved a sign in his face, very, very close, and then he was bumped. Essentially, if you watch basketball, it was almost like sending a pick by Representative Scott Sapicki. Now, I don't know if you know Representative Scott Sapicki, but he's a former football player, former baseball player, very large, hefty individual. He set a screen essentially on Representative Pearson, and then Pearson was also bumped by Representative Jason Zachary of Knoxville. Now, you can see a lot of people going around comparing videos showing the representatives what just happened, and it seems like, I think you all just pulled up the video of what just happened. I mean, it really devolved not long after that. Essentially an altercation. I call it an altercation, really, is what happened. Altercation is overshadowing everything that just happened. I mean, special session rather was already a bit chaotic and really unsure of what happened, and really felt like a PR disaster at some level for this House, and this just ratcheted it up another 100%.
Wow, this seems to have just continued all the heightened emotion, Chris, that we've seen at the state capitol since the Covenant school shooting, people protesting, the governor calling for the special session, and then there has just been so much back and forth since the special session happened. Chris, I wanted to ask you again to bring us up to speed about the developments this morning in particular. So you told us that the Senate had initially adjourned. There was some discussion, though, between the House and the Senate, or was there an agreement reached about what legislation they were going to go forward with during this House portion of the session?
Yeah, there had to be some sort of agreement between the House and the Senate to really get us to this point of being ready to adjourn, for a lack of better terms. I mean, the House and the Senate came together, the Republican leadership, they hammered out something with the governor this morning. A lot of it was around appropriations and where to send money. The Senate felt like they wanted to be a little bit more conservative with their money, while the House was saying, well, it costs money to protect our kids, that sort of thing. Now, that agreement came together this morning just before session. We saw, actually, if you check our Twitter or check our our website, you saw Jack Johnson coming together and we watched him have an impromptu conference essentially with some of the senators this morning, and you could pretty much clearly tell that he was telling them what was happening, bringing them up to speed, and saying this is the plan as we continue to move forward. The adjournment resolution came up not long after that, once session kind of get through, and that brought us to the House, which then they concurred. It voted about 70 to 18. I need to go ahead and check the official record. It might have been 71 to 18 to go ahead and adjourn, and that's when, again, the chaos kind of ensued. That's when Pearson, who you might be able to see right now, I don't know if we've got it up or not, but Representative Pearson came over to Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton. That's when he got in his face, and that's when he got kind of screened and picked by Representative Sapicki. And once the bump actually happened, House Majority Leader William Lamberth and Representative Justin Pearson kind of, had exchanged some words. There was a scrum. It's really, again, kind of unprecedented at some level. I can't remember the last time tensions were this high. I think you'd have to go back to 2001, 2002, 2003 when the income tax was being held up for debate. But again, that brings us to now. We expect to hear from Republican leadership here in the next 20, 30 minutes or so. As soon as things happen, we will be sure to bring them to you, again, as they continue to develop.